comments. Yeah, the last time I was sitting in this chair, I talked about I hope we learn from the loss to Missouri, and that anybody in the SEC can beat anybody in the SEC this year. And you actually almost saw that across the board this week. I think Auburn almost lost to South Carolina, and Missouri pushed Kentucky almost to 5. But it's a dogfight, so any win's a good win. And I was happy with the weekend, and I would say especially the Mississippi State match. Really good opponent. I thought we came out and played the best volleyball maybe of the year. And it was the things we'd been working on all week. So ability to serve aggressively in the court, ability to pass the ball in the middle of the court, and an ability to grind within a long rally. And I thought we did a good job of those things.
Any questions for Coach Morrison? We'll go front row on the left side to Mark and then Travis.
Jamie, do you feel like your team's starting to get into a sort of a rhythm as you get deeper into the conference schedule and more consistent level of play?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's always this mid-season grind, and I think we just went through it when kind of midterms pile up. And again, there was some bug going around Texas A&M that I think 99.9% of our team caught. So I think there's this grind that kind of happens, and then there's this rhythm that happens afterwards. And I feel like we're right on the edge of the grind right now. There's a few more midterms coming up. But I think there's definitely more of a rhythm of like we play Friday, Sunday for the most part down the stretch with one Wednesday match, where it's like, all right, these are the classes I'm going to be able to go to. These are the classes I'm going to be able to miss. So I think there's that, but I also think there needs to be a reminder of what we're here for. And for us, there were some goals of the tournament at the end of the year, and some goals of where we want to finish in the SEC. And I think we need to make sure we continue to strive for those.
We'll go front row on the right side to Travis.
4 away games or 5 and 6 is not necessarily that common. How do you feel like your team handled that, and coming out with a 3-2 record, is that where y'all felt like you wanted to be?
Yeah, apparently when it comes to moving vehicles, we're cursed. So we got on our flight, had a warning light that came on. We ended up having to get off the flight, come here and practice instead of practicing at Ole Miss. And just, I think our team's handling that really well. On the way back, there was a delay with the flight also where we were kind of hanging out, and I taught 4 of the girls how to juggle. And we made the most of it, which is what you want. And at the end of the day, we just talked about recapping the weekend logistically and volleyball-wise. And logistics, we're like, hey, we need to, I don't know, make sure these things don't happen if we can control it. But at the end of the day, it might be what our team needs of having to face a little bit of adversity on the court so that we can handle it on the court. So I think we're fine with the road. There's some other teams that have it worse. I know that. I was talking to Jason at Arkansas, and I think they finished the last 7 matches of the season on the road. So it happens. Luckily, we're at an amazing university that takes care of us. We have majority of our flights chartered, so it really doesn't, I don't know, feel that bad that you get off an airplane, go to practice, and do it in somebody else's house. But I think they're handling it extremely well.
And then on the converse of that, having so many backloaded home games in a schedule, is that something that a coach would dream of? Yeah,
so that's the flip side of it is when I look at that schedule, like we go through this thing, and again, going back to the connecting questions here, you get this kind of mid-season grind, but I think we've done a good job of getting through it. And again, the Missouri loss, I want that one back, but if it causes us to work hard in the future, that's awesome. But if we get through this, then all of a sudden we get the 12th man behind us down the stretch, and hopefully we can make some noise in the SEC.
We'll go back behind the lights on the left side to Donna and then Ben.
Coach, you usually talk about how the focus is always on your team. So what is the focus for y'all headed into practice this week ahead of LSU?
Yeah, they threw a couple little curveballs at us. So I think practicing some things there, and I think there's some holes and kind of some things that they're doing. So usually the way that I orient our practice is it's like, all right, here's what we need to do in order to beat this team. Does that match up with what we need to do to make our team better? And if that happens, we're for sure working on these things. And then there's some other pieces where I just firmly believe that your main goal as a coach should be to make the opponent adjust to you. To be able to do enough on the court that you, I don't know, are making them change something in the way that they go about their business. And then there's going to be some things that you want your team to be comfortable with that, hey, this is what we're going to see, and we don't want it to be the first time we're seeing it is on the court on Friday or Sunday. So I try to blend those two things as much as possible, but thank you for picking up on it, of leaning to the fact that we're going to make our product the best product out there, and that'll be the emphasis.
We'll go to the right side of TV row to Ben and then Tyler.
Coach, how do you feel like some of the girls who were on the team last year and I guess going through this year, like you said, anything can happen in the SEC. Seems like, not only getting off to a good start now, but just kind of going from just seeing what you can do to now maybe kind of expected to take care of business and maybe with a little bit of attention on you. How do you feel like they're kind of handling, I guess, that shift in expectations, elevating?
I was just laughing because one of our players was in class and their professor was like, "So what happened on Friday or on Sunday when we lost to Missouri?" Yeah, I think they're handling it well. And I think, again, like I'm just going to keep going back to the Missouri loss. I think it was a learning moment of like, we've never made it. It's the work that goes into the week of practice and the work that goes in on the court during that match that has caused the wins to happen. And I thought, again, I thought Mississippi State, it was a good testament to that of regardless of who we were playing, we were going to step out and be ourselves. And so I think it's still a learning process. We're still young for the most part. And they're still young in the process of learning how to be a really good volleyball team.
We'll go one more on TV row to the middle to Tyler.
Yeah, Jamie, you said this is maybe the best volleyball that they've played. Is it the most balanced you've seen so far? I mean, the way that they're attacking and blocking.
Yeah, I think it was balanced. I talked in here, I think at one point about this balance between being aggressive and safe. You got to find that, and I thought that in terms of the match, the way we served, the way we passed, we were able to stay consistently in system. The balance on offense, like I just remember their coach kind of walking away being like, well, crap, I think after the first set of like, I think some people that maybe hadn't gone off before were starting to go off. And I think kind of all of those things pieced together of we were really, really hard to play against. And I won't say stop. It's just, I think really good volleyball teams, when you're playing against them, it just becomes a grind of I have to play really good volleyball for 2 hours. And when that happens, other teams are just like, I can't do it for this long. And I thought that match especially, we did it in all facets of the game where it was just really annoying to play against us. And that's what we're trying to do.
Looks like that's all we have. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.